Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 7. Our members is Ahmad Nur Hairi, Nur Lydia Febrianti, Nur Fakhriana Maulidina, Ahmad Lutfi Al-Hafiz. And our topic is Interlanguage. So the first is behaviorist learning theory. Behaviorist learning theory. Language learning is a kind of learning that involves habit information. So, behaviorist learning theory is kind of habit activities. Habits are formed when the learners respond to stimuli in the environment and have their response reinforcement. Learners imitate model of correct language, correct imitation, positive reinforcement. For example, give me a pencil. He gets a pencil. But the incorrect imitation, negative reinforcement, for example, give me. He doesn't get the pencil because he doesn't say pencil. And it can be seen that behaviors learning theory of L2 acquisition emphasize only what can be directly observed and ignore what goes in the black box of the learner's mind. Black box means that background knowledge of the learners. That's all.
Yeah, my name is Nur Fakhriana Maulidina, and I am going to continue the presentation about interlanguage, and the next one is about behaviorist learning theory. Learners imitate models of correct language. The first correct language, positive reinforcement, for example, like give me a pencil, and he or she will get a pencil because the direction is clear. And then the incorrect imitation, negative reinforcement, for example, like just give me. She or he does not get a pencil because the direction is not clear. The next one is about behaviorist learning theory. It can be seen that behaviorist accounts of second learner acquisition emphasize only what can be directly observed and ignored what goes on in the black box of the learner's mind. And the next one is mentalist theory of language learning, the nature, example, how to innate properties of the human mind shape learning becomes attention in learning language.
Okay, I will continue the presentation about what is interlanguage. Interlanguage is the type of language or linguistic system used by second and foreign language learners who are in the process of learning a target language. Some researchers consider that systematic development of learner language reflects as a mental system of L2 knowledge. The system is often referred to as interlanguage. The concept of interlanguage. First, the learner constructs a system of abstract linguistic rules which underlie comprehension and production of the L2. The learner grammar is permeable, influenced from the outside and inside. Example, omission, generalization, transfer errors. The learner grammar is transitional. Learner changes the grammar from one to another times by adding roles, deleting roles, and restructuring the whole system. Interlanguage continuum. Interlanguage systems are homogeneous and variability in learner language as reflect the mistake they made. Then learners employ various learning strategies such as omission, overgeneralization, and transfer errors to develop their interlanguage. The learner grammar is likely to fossilize. The majority of learners stop developing the mental grammar as native speaker, unless 5% of them only. The concept of interlanguage offers a general account of how second language acquisition takes place. And the last, This concept of interlanguage needs to be elaborated to address some questions raised about interlanguage. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Lutfi Al-Hafiz and I will continue the presentations. So next is a computational model of L2 equations. So in here I will explain how to acquire a new language. So there are two stages for this to acquire a language. First is input and the second is output. And the for the input there are two stages. First is intake and the second is to knowledge. First, in intake. Intake is parts of the input are attended to and taken into short-term memory, which means that your informations, everything you know about language, you will save it on your short-term memories. And for the second, L2 knowledge, some of the intake is stored in long-term memory. For the example is first, when you learn how to count from 1 until 10, at first you will store the informations about how to count from 1 until 10 in short-term memories, but later, right now, it is easy, right, for you to count from 1 until 10, and that means that you have stored the information or the language in your long-term memory, and after that finally we will make an output. L2 knowledge is used by the learner to produce spoken and written output. So that's how to acquire language. That's all from me. Thank you.